Thanks for joining us, everyone, for our first episode of Top Shelf Sports. I'm Eli Gain.
And George Rodas couldn't make it with us, so I'm filling in for him, Fiorella Cola. The basketball scene in DeKalb has been hot this year.
Yeah, that's right, and we've got a ton of action to get you caught up with, so let's get started with the NIU women's basketball team. The Lady Huskies hung around with the best teams in the MAC all year long, despite their young age, and that's in large part due to the play of, get this, freshman players Amanda Corral and Claire Jakubisek. Now, they did have their fair share of ups and downs, but one thing is certain, the future is looking pretty good for the women's basketball program. Now, let's give you a review of how NIU played the last couple of months of their regular season. We're going to start off at the Convocation Center. The band trying to get the crowd all fired up, especially this drummer here. Look at him going to town on that thing. The Huskies, they got into a rhythm of their own early on. You see Courtney Shelton here. Hits it from downtown. That would start an early run for NIU. Shelton had a game-high 23 points. Next Huskies possession, Shelton pushing it up the floor. She's going to find a wide-open Kim Davis. Might as well just shoot it wide open. Yeah, she hits 2 of her 5 points in the contest. She also pulled down 8 boards. A little later, some good ball movement here. Kim Davis gets it to Alicia Johnson, who's cutting to the rim. Puts up the nice little basket. The Huskies opened up the game with a 7-0 run. Johnson finished with 6. Later in the first, Itziar Yobe makes a nice drive to the rim and lays in the left-hander. She had 20. Amanda Corral responds, though, on the other end. She's going to hit the 3 here. Bang. She finished with 14 points. The Huskies held the lead the entire game as they shut down the Golden State Flashes 66-55.
After the win against the Flashes, the Huskies hit the road against the Bowling Green Falcons. The Lady Huskies hung around throughout the course of the game, but it was Bowling Green that came out on top with a 57-47 win. Jakubisek flirted with a double-double, dropping 17 points and pulling down 8 rebounds. Huskies at the Convocation Center taking on the Ohio Bobcats early in the first. Shelton with a long pass to Jakubisek for 2 of her 16 points in the game. That put the Huskies up. Still in the first, Ohio's Siobhan Robinson and Simone Lyles, who hit the jump shot to pull the Bobcats within 1. Minutes later, Davis feeds it to a driving Corral, who lays it in off the glass. She finishes with 9 points in the game, and the Huskies win this one 50-46.
And after that slim win over the Bobcats, it was a little different when NIU took on Miami of Ohio. The Huskies shot over 54% from the field as they took down the Redhawks 70-58. Courtney Shelton had a career-high 13 assists, while Kim Davis put up a game-high 22 points. Shelton and Davis were 2 of 3 Huskies that were in double figures. Amanda Corral was the 3rd with 14 points. And the Huskies went back to the convo to square up with the Redhawks. We're going to pick it up in the first half here. Yeah, Kim Davis getting into Courtney Shelton's going to square up. And then she's going to end up passing it to Amanda Corral, who's going to hit this 3 from beyond the arc. We'll see her a little bit later. Still in the first, Shelton. She's going to find a cutting Claire Jakubisek for the layup to extend the Huskies' lead. She led the team with 17 points. Ball State with the rock now. Spreading the ball around pretty good before Amanda Crago finds Shelby Justice down low for the easy layup, and that pulls the Cardinals a bit closer. Later in the game, Brandy Woody makes a quick pass to Mercedes Miller, who's going to drop the 3. Nice little 3-pointer there, but this game, all Huskies. As Alicia Johnson here, she's going to dish it to an open Corral. She's going to hit another 3. I told you we'd see her again. She'd finish with 10 points on the night, and the news wasn't all good, though, for the Huskies. Time winding down, Claire Jakubisek goes down with a broken foot. That ended her season, but the Huskies got the win 58-44.
Here we have Amanda Corral getting loose before their big game. Huskies sporting pink jerseys for the Breast Cancer Awareness Month against Eastern Michigan in the Convocation Center. Unfortunately, Claire Jakubisek sitting out with a broken foot. Early action, Amanda Corral hits the tray from the corner of the 3 of her 7 points on the game. Moving ahead a bit, Alicia Johnson finds Jenna Thorpe putting in the right-hand layup, but this is when Eastern Michigan takes it over. And it is Tavlin James' show in the convo here as she's pulling up for a nice step back 3-pointer. Look at that one. James led the MAC in scoring this season. Here's James again off the pass, driving in the paint, and then the short jumper. James scores 29 on the night. Eastern Michigan wins big, 77-57.
And the story wasn't any better after NIU lost by 20 to Eastern Michigan in that last highlight. They began their two-game road trip against Central Michigan. The Chippewas completely owning the Huskies in this game from start to finish. Central Michigan handed NIU their second straight 20-point loss, 73-50. From Michigan to Ohio, the Huskies went to take on the Toledo Rockets. NIU put up a season-low 39 points that extended their losing streak to 3 games. It was a tough defensive effort, but not enough offense to take home the W. And after the two-game road trip, the Huskies headed home for their last regular season contest. There you see Courtney Shell and Kim Davis being honored on senior night. They took on Western Michigan. We start late in the second half. The Broncos fighting back. When Arielle Anderson hits the raindrop, then with 2 minutes remaining, Corey Buchanan fouled hard by Jenna Thorpe there, but she gets it to go. She would hit the 2. She did not get it to go, but she hit the 2 free throws is what I meant. That cut the Husky lead to 1. Cutting the Husky lead to 1. Jeez, next Broncos possession. Anderson with a kick out to Julia Henson, who comes up in the clutch, putting Western Michigan up by 2. Under 15 seconds, Broncos turn the ball over on the inbounds. They could have won it if they got it in cleanly, but we're going to go to the next inbound, NIU. Courtney Sheldon inbounding it to Satavia Taylor, says, "Give me the rock, girls. I'm doing this all on my own." She finished with a season-high 20 points, and we went to overtime. But Broncos too much. It was definitely Anderson. She took over for the Broncos, shredded the Huskies defense, putting up 29 points as NIU lost their 4th straight game, 66-64. And NIU took on Western Michigan again. Just a few days later, they would avenge their OT loss by defeating the Broncos by 17.
Well, that takes us to the end of the regular season, but we're not done yet.
Oh no, we got the Lady Huskies. They had themselves quite an adventure through the MAC tournament in Cleveland. And I guess that last game that I was talking about, Western Michigan, was their first round in the MAC tournament. So they advanced to the second round, which we will have for you next.
Well, let's take a look at those highlights.
We're going to jump to round 2 where NIU faced Akron. Huskies down 1. Shelton misses, but Kim Davis is there to put it back in. They're up by 1. Oh no, look at this. Look at this. Akron pushing up the floor. Oh, she can't get it to go. And the Huskies would actually win in a thriller. This was an amazing game. They advanced to the third round to take on the Toledo Rockets. And then NIU, however, they did fall to Toledo in the third round. They were the number 3 seed overall. But all in all, it was a very exciting year for the Huskies. A lot of potential looking for that team.
It was, Eli, especially for some of those young talent the Huskies had this year.
Absolutely. And one of those youngsters who you saw in a couple of highlights was Amanda Corral. Overcame a career-threatening injury, it would seem like. I actually had a chance to talk to Amanda about her hard work to get back onto the court. Check it out.
Amanda Corral, freshman guard here at NIU, who was second on the team in scoring, averaging 10 points per contest. The way she's played throughout the season, you never would have guessed that this happened just over a year ago. Her senior season at Hobart High School was over. A torn ACL and partially torn MCL, possibly shattering Amanda's dream of playing college basketball.
I thought right away, like, if Coach Bennett would still want me, or like, would I be good enough, and things like that.
But head coach Kathy Bennett didn't pass on the scrappy point guard. She felt that time off the court would be a good thing for Amanda.
I just think when you have an injury like that, it shows you how much you love the game. I think it helps you become even more committed because you don't ever want to be without it again.
Ironically, Amanda would get the start near the beginning of the season due to a key player going down with a knee injury. But Amanda recovered from her knee injury in only 5 months, an injury that usually takes 9 to heal. But Coach Bennett didn't want to rush Amanda into game action because she was looking at the bigger picture.
I wanted to make sure that the graft had, because I know a little bit about knees, that it was, strong and, had some information on her doctor, and just wanted to make sure that it was okay for her to be doing, because her future, is here.
With her future at NIU looking up, Amanda doesn't think about the injury that almost kept her down.
It hasn't been an issue. Like, I tweaked it a couple times, but it gets sore from time to time. But other than that, when I'm playing, I don't think about it at all.
And it really was an amazing story. Only 5 months after tearing her ACL, I just can't believe. I don't really know how she did it. A lot of hard work, obviously.
Didn't you have the same injury?
Yes, I did a couple of years ago, but it took me about 9 to 10 months to recover, twice as long as she did. So, big props to her.
Well, when we come back, we'll do just the same thing, but this time with the men's team. Sad to say, though, they didn't have as many wins. Stay with us. You're watching Top Shelf Sports.
The odds of a child being in a fatal automobile accident are 1 in 23,000. The odds of a child being diagnosed with autism, 1 in 166. The odds say it's time to listen. To learn the signs of autism, visit autismspeaks.org.
Welcome back to Top Shelf Sports, and as Fiorella said, the men's team didn't have a very good year this year, did they?
No, they didn't. Head coach Mark Montgomery came in from Michigan State, and the chemistry just didn't seem to be there this season. But we're going to pick it up when the Huskies took on Buffalo a little over a month ago. The boys on the court getting ready before the game. Look at them cheering themselves on. First half, Keith Gray to Abdul Nader from the corner. Nails the jumper, puts the Huskies up. Great shot. Looks like the fans are pretty happy there. Stanberg finds Axel Boylan here, drops it from downtown. Huskies up by 5. Huskies still feeling it. Look at that one, happy. Tony Nixon moves it in and makes a tough shot here to keep them in the lead. But then Buffalo takes over. Tony Watson kicks it out to Dave Barnett, who hits a 3 to put the Bulls up 18-15. Wow. Buffalo pulling away. Jared Oldman swings it to Zach Felsen, who scores from downtown. Buffalo led by 25 at one point. They won this one easily, 74-59.
And the next game, the Huskies took the floor against the Ohio Bobcats. So it was all Axel Boylan early on. Makes the and one here foul. Then you're going to see him a little bit later here. He's going to take the pass. He's going to hit the 3, money, slick, just like his hair, perfect. Fans getting all into it. Then you have Abdul Nader kicking it to Keith Gray. He'll finish and he'll get the and one, draw the foul. He would make the free throw. And then it was all Ohio in this one. You have Ivo Balsic to Reggie Keeley. He's going to make a nice little move here to the rim. Goes up strong, gets it to go. And then you got Stevie Taylor. Look at this little quickster. Look at this guy. Jeez. Little short guy. Those guys are always fast. He finished at the rim pretty tough. And Ohio wins the game 67-58. That little boy is not very happy.
The boys had a rough one on the road in Bowling Green. It wasn't even a close at the end of this one. The Falcons with a dominating 25-point win. But against Miami of Ohio, the men looking like a different team out there. First half, NIU down. Abdul Nader almost loses the ball, but is able to regain the control, making the tough shot. But definitely he had to earn that one. Later in the first, Red Hawks' John Harris hits a clutch 3 to break a 19-19 tie. He has a 5 of 7 from beyond the arc. Second half, it's Harris again for a 3-point land, putting his team up by 10, but with Huskies down 1 trying to come back, Red Hawks get a fast break. Tony Nixon with a huge block to keep Miami lead where it is. But then it was a shot of the game. Axel Boylan gets it at the top of the key and drains to go ahead 3. Huskies lead 58-56. Last second though, Red Hawks need a 3-2 tie. John Harris gets a shot off and it goes, but it was after the buzzer and the Huskies hold a 62-59 lead.
After the Miami-Ohio game, the Huskies took the road against the Akron Zips, where they fell 75-51, a 24-point blowout. Keith Gray and Abdul Nader led the team with 13 points each. And from Ohio, back to the Convo, where NIU took on Western Michigan. First half, Huskies trying to get on the board, and Abdul Nader would do just that. Draws the foul, but would miss the free throw, keeping the game tied at 2 early on. Next Broncos possession, Leonard Whitfield somehow finds his way between the defenders and putting in the floater. He finished with 17. Then a nice little pass here from Mike Douglas to Nate Hutchinson. Douglas had a game-high 7 assists in this one, and the second half just getting underway. Sion Berg gets the takeaway to start the 3-on-2, and look at this little highlight. Look at Abdul Nader going up. Go up, big fella. There you go. Pulls the Huskies to within 8. But Western Michigan was too much as Austin Ritchie drills the wide-open tray here. Boom, and that shot pretty much sums up the game as the Huskies literally go down just like that, 78-53. And the Huskies' losing woes continued when they hit the road for 3 consecutive games.
Yes, they did. NIU dropped all 3 games on the road, but the most heartbreaking one was against SIUE when they lost on a buzzer beater. The men went into their last home game on a senior night against Toledo, and it was a close one all the way to the last play. Pick it up in the second half. Toledo trying to play keep away from NIU defense, but Tony Nixon gets the big steal. Huskies move it up court. They get it to Keith Gray for the and one. Giving the Huskies a victory in their final home game. Great job, guys.
The Huskies' last game of the regular season was at Ball State, where they fell 62-51.
But it wouldn't be their last game of the season once MAC tournament play started.
That's right, Fiorella. NIU traveled to Eastern Michigan for their first-round matchup against the Eagles. The Huskies pulled off the upset with a 3-point win that surprisingly advanced them to the second round.
It did provide a little bit of energy for the Huskies, but unfortunately the energy wouldn't last long. Just a couple days later, NIU fell to Western Michigan 71-54.
And hey, we're not done yet. When we get back, we got action from the NCAA tournament. Stay tuned. You're watching Top Shelf Sports.
Global warming. Some say irreversible consequences are 30 years away. 30 years? That won't affect me.
Welcome back, everyone. It's that time of the year when the month gets a little mad.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. Everybody has to love the atmosphere of March Madness, and this year's tournament, again, has not disappointed. There were a lot of surprises in the tournament again this year. It seems like it happens all the time. You had two number 15 seeds win in Lehigh and Norfolk State. And you also had MAC team, Ohio. They actually went to the Sweet 16 this year before they fell in an overtime game against North Carolina. But we're going to get you the action from last weekend's Elite 8 matchups. And we're starting off with Kansas versus North Carolina. Great coaches, Roy Williams and Bill Self in the first half. Jayhawk Thomas Robinson making a nice little drive there. Blows past Tyler Zeller. Gets a fancy little reverse layup. Kansas up by 3. UNC responds, though. Harrison Barnes finds Justin Watts open in the corner. Hits the 3. Game tied at 19. End of the second half, Jeff Withey, big rejection here, and Tyshawn Taylor pushes it up. Travis Relaford all alone, who puts the exclamation point on the victory. Kansas taking down the Heels to head to New Orleans. They win it 80-67.
Syracuse coach Jim Boeheim getting ready for Jared Sullinger and the Ohio State Buckeyes. In the first half, OSU getting in the paint, and Jared Sullinger gets the putback 9-2 Ohio State. Later in the first, OSU's Aaron Kraft drives inside and makes the layup, and the foul. Still in the first, Syracuse scoops it to C.J. Fair for the alley-oop slam. But late in the second, OSU's Thomas takes it strong to the basket and finishes with a tough floater. And that will do it. OSU rolls on and advances to the Final Four.
Hey, let's go to Kentucky versus Baylor. We're going to pick it up in the first half. Baylor's Quincy AC gets it to the other Quincy Miller. Quincy Miller for the tray. Baylor going up by 5 early, would not last. Later in the first, Kentucky's Terrence Jones walks into a steal here and leads it to Anthony Davis for the big slam. Look at that. That dude is long. One long boy. Then Kentucky on the break again. Michael Kidd-Gilchrist takes it in for the layup inside. And then Kentucky, they just get on a roll. It's Kidd-Gilchrist again slams it down. And then, hey, look who it is. Guess who? Kidd-Gilchrist. Look, he's going to put up this 3. Drains it. And then you have Terrence Jones. Puts it up for Anthony Davis for the impressive slam. And Kentucky is now up by 15 in the second. Terrence Jones misses the free throw. Gets that rebound. Slams it down. Kentucky up big, 69-50. Kentucky seals the deal with the 82-70 victory and take their seat at the Final Four.
Finally, we got Louisville versus Florida. Both coaches looking ready for this one. With 5 minutes left in the game, Louisville's Ross Smith pulls up in the lane for the jumper, cutting the deficit to 1. Soon after, Smith drives and finds Sean Bohanna for the smooth finish and close. Game tied at 66. Then with a minute left, Bohanna with another basket in the paint to put Louisville up by 1. With just 20 seconds left, Louisville turns it over to Florida's Bradley